What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the channel. Glad you could join us. We are CNG Performance.
I'm Cassandra.
And I'm Gary. And on this channel, you're going to see us working on a lot of our old project cars. We've got a yard full of them. And just like most of you guys that have collector's cars, our main goal is to just get everything back on the road, back to a good running status, so we can enjoy them.
Try to keep them as original as possible, but obviously the older the vehicle, the harder that becomes.
The more challenges we're definitely going to run into.
Yeah.
Case in point, the one we're looking at right now is our 84 Dodge Ramcharger Prospector Royal SE 150 4x4. We found this truck hiding out in Amsterdam when we were both stationed in Germany, and we did an overnight out and back to go get it, driving through Belgium. It was a great drive. I wouldn't want to do it again. It had its own onset of problems at first. We spent a ton of hours and money into it, and once we got it shipped home, we ran into some more problems. So in this episode, you're going to see us swap a Holley Sniper EFI system onto this big old 4x4.
Stay tuned. Hey everyone, I wanted to give you guys a quick video disclaimer for the video you're about to watch, plus the next couple of videos that we're going to put out. It's kind of like a hodgepodge of video content filmed over like a 2-year period. We had started Holley Sniper EFI install back in 2019, had every intention of putting content out in 2020. Then the pandemic hit. We live like 2.5 hours apart, so it was very difficult for us at that point to be able to come together to finish some of the work that needed to get done at that time.
I mean, it was borderline impossible there for a little bit.
Yeah.
Because you weren't allowed to go anywhere. I was being highly encouraged to stay in the local area, as I'm sure a lot of you were.
Yeah.
So that all came to a screeching halt pretty much.
Yeah. Then by the time we were able to start meeting back up again, we had so many other things that had to get taken care of. So this was kind of on the back burner, waiting on parts too in some cases,
yeah.
As we were finding things out. So as you watch this video, and like I said, in the next couple of videos that we're going to put out over the next couple of months, you'll notice that there's some inconsistencies where we're wearing long sleeves, then short sleeves and shorts, and because it's just different periods over the 2-year time frame that we were trying to get content filmed.
Well, and the fact that we live in Texas, and for example, this is the middle of January, and we're in t-shirts and
60.
Beautiful sunny day, and you know, last week this time it was 7, so I mean, there's that. And to go along with that, somebody had bought one of the cheapest digital cameras he can get his hands on at the time, and you'll notice it too, it has the worst video quality of any camera I think you've probably, I'm pretty sure a Polaroid takes better video than this thing did. But we ended up using it anyway, and of course what made it worse was my good buddy's nephew Ethan was coming over to help me rebuild the fuel system on the Ramcharger for the install. And we're about halfway through tearing the old fuel lines out of the truck and running the new ones through it, and he says, "Oh hey Unc, didn't you want to film some of this?" So we jump right into the middle of this episode with Ethan and I installing fuel lines on this Ramcharger. Check this out. This aluminum stuff is kind of tender, so we got to be.
Like it'll snap?
Well, no, it'll kink really easily.
Isn't that's for?
Yes, but it can only do a bend so tight, so we'll have to get creative.
So where are these going?
Around the blower motor, go under the bottom, and then come out somewhere in this neighborhood.
You're leaking.
No, I do it all the time.
Had so much coffee this morning.
It happens when you get older, man.
I'm telling. I don't want to get old, man.
Well, I would encourage you not to. All right, so which one comes out? Okay, so the 1/2 inch is coming out first. A 1/2 inch. Where's the throttle body? I need to see which outlet is where. On the back of the throttle body, the inlet and the return fittings off of the regulator are both sized for -6 lines. That's fine. This thing's only rated for 400 horsepower anyway. The problem was I'm running -8 hardline from the tank all the way up to the engine bay, and I don't like the way reducers look when you tag them into a fuel line. Personal opinion only. So I went digging through my nitrous box and I found this little gem. One of my old Fragola -8 to 1/4 inch NPT O-ring fittings.
It's going to thread right into the back of the throttle body, allow me to run -8 hardline all the way up to it without any interruptions, any reducers, nothing that'll detract from the overall look of the package.
I think the 1/2 inch needs to go to the far side. You realize all this started because of a broken throttle cable?
All you had to do was change the throttle cable, but no.
No. We need to do a smooth bend down there to get around the frame rail, hug tight to the firewall, and just basically loop the heater box. But I want to leave probably close to a 1/2 inch of space. I'm going to go underneath, and I'm going to hold it off the frame rail down there.
Yep.
And then you can use that tire step to get in here and just watch your eye on this thing. All right, now
Go put this back.
yeah, let's make that. Hey, bring that tubing cutter back with you.
Where's it at?
Right there on the table. You just walk past.
I have no idea what you just said because there's a whole lot of rain. Oh, I walked right past it. Okay.
All right, so kind of shape those two lines to where they sort of match,
Like straight.
and then have them come up by the cowl up here.
Like that. Come up like that.
Yeah. I'm genuinely worried that my driveway's going to fill up with water. Like, genuinely.
So you want... What do you want it like? Right?
One just ahead of that drain hose right there.
And then one up
And
here.
then we'll do another one right after the bend, yeah. Winning at life?
Somewhat.
Okay, so I think that would be the better centering position for the two nuts. I'll make this one flush with the edge, which is going to seem a little sketchy, but I think it'll be okay. I love this punch. All right, man. Drill bit, drill, make holes. And I don't think we're there yet. Nope. One more. It's weird. I need like a half a step, and I don't think I can do it with this. Where's that black one? This operation's off to a fantastic start. Found it. Hey, bring that -8 back over here. God, I love that sound. By love, I mean hate.
I was probably in the shop for a second.
Nailed it.
Dang, you're good,
I
man.
have my moments, man.
Far between.
Yeah, and usually not witnessed, but they do happen. Fabrication skills. 10 out of 10.
Perfect. Okay.
Okay. That's the bad part is I really like this carb. It's worked really well. Great carb. Love this thing. There she is, folks. Holley Sniper Throttle Body EFI. I've read mixed reviews on this thing. Some love it, some hate it. Some are in the middle of the road. We'll figure out where we fit into that category here. Just a few minutes.
Drops right in place of your standard 4150 flange carburetor. And these hard lines you see back here are temporary. I didn't order the braided line yet, so supply and return lines are fitted to the throttle body. Obviously these aren't the permanent ones. These are just the lines we made to test fire the thing and identify any other problems we probably will run into. Not if, but when. Well, here we go again. The battery's been on the charge for 4 days and it lasts 4 minutes. I wish I could say I understand that. Okay. I got that separated. That's separated. I'll go ahead and just cut that out. Fix that later. Seeing things. Yeah, I taped that all the way around. Oh yeah, because this has the distributor magnetic trigger wires in it too, so I have to get those out. I'll be so happy when we're done with this. I want to drive this again. Oh, yeah, sorry. Proper cheers. Proper. Feels like this thing's been in the garage all year.
Because it kind of has.
It runs great though. Like that sniper is incredible. Ooh, I need to bring the people up to speed on what they all missed. So come here. So, due to technical errors, yeah, start over, right?
Edit that out.
Due to technical errors beyond my control, the camera that I was recording with that day died the moment I started digging into the wiring, which you saw a few minutes ago. So I was just working away, taking everything apart, you know, getting ready to do all my wiring, and then I got finished a couple hours later and went back to look at the footage and it was all gone. It only caught like maybe a minute or so of video, and I was heartbroken, but you know, it is what it is. So we did a lot of things different. Well, I can't say different. We added to things on this truck that I was going to do eventually down the road. I just wasn't ready to do them at that time, like immediately. So what we ended up doing is originally we were going to run the sniper system with the stock Chrysler style ignition system that I'd gotten from FBO. And got the sniper installed, everything was wired, everything looked good. Turned the key, it wouldn't light off. I had fuel pressure, but I didn't have an RPM signal. So I spent an entire day pulling everything apart, chasing power, chasing everything, trying to figure out why I had no RPM signal this thing. I looked on Holley's website and I went to bed that night just upset, frustrated, confused, you know, all the above. Couldn't put it together, couldn't figure out why. I was sitting at work the next day and I was like, okay, you know what, fine. I'll take the plunge and I'll get their Hyper Spark distributor and ignition box. Because I was going to do it eventually down the road. Because I did want the Holley to manage all the timing and everything. I just didn't want to, you know, I'd already sunk $1,000 into this thing just with the sniper itself and building my own fuel system and everything. I didn't want to take another $500 plunge and go even deeper. But, you know, sometimes your project car kind of dictates which direction you go, whether you want to go or not. So I got the Hyper Spark distributor, the ignition box. It takes almost up the same exact real estate that an MSD 6AL box would take. So mounting it is not a big deal. And it's mounted right over here, tucked away under the hood hinge in this rat's nest of a mess of wires. Of all my options, that was the best one to go with. And the distributor obviously sits in a stock location. We had to change plug wires, and as soon as I got everything wired up, plugged in, hit the key and it lit right off. Like nothing was wrong. Upon further investigation, I figured out why I wasn't getting an RPM signal. So in the stock distributor, there was just a Proform Mopar replacement distributor. It was nothing special. And apparently at some point between the last MSD box that I had in the truck and the FBO box that I installed, the center contact on the rotor actually had welded itself to the center stud on the distributor cap. It was why I wasn't getting any fire to the plug. So it was one of those unfortunate blessings, I guess. I don't know, you want to call it a happy accident that it did that. But in either case, engine wise, up under here, everything's done. Everything's wired, tucked away, plumbed away. We got new wires, new plugs, new HyperSpark distributor. The Holley management system is taking care of all the timing events. I think when we ran the setup wizard, I've got 16 to 18 degrees of initial ignition timing. That's hard to say 3 times fast. And I think at wide open throttle, we're at 34 degrees and we cruise at about 42. So putting it around out here in the neighborhood, it actually worked out really well. Motor fires right up, there's no hesitation. I now have the confidence in knowing I can walk up to this truck, whether it's 110 degrees or negative 10 degrees, hit the key, and I'll be on the road in just a few seconds. Not saying I'm no longer a carb guy, I'm definitely a carb guy, but for this, it's hands down amazing. So this is by far the best option. And down the road, when we put another motor in this truck, I may keep this. We've talked about using just a Magnum, 9789 Magnum motor and keeping the Magnum EFI system and putting this on something else, but we'll burn that bridge when we get there. Because for right now, I'm in love with this thing. It's amazing. The drivability is unbelievable. And then we can get to work on that giant red hunk of heartache out there. Maybe rebuild that thing over there to put back in that thing out there. But when that happens, you'll see it in a future episode. Hopefully soon. So one thing that we didn't get quite right, even though we built our own fuel system for this motor, is somebody who's going to remain nameless may have not wired the fuel sending unit up properly. If I find him, I'm going to kick his So here in a minute, we got to drop the gas tank, fix that wire, tuck everything back away, and then for the last time, hopefully put the fuel tank back up under the truck and forget that it exists.
Luckily for us, all of the Dodge Ramcharger gas tanks of the late 80s are shaped real similar to one another. Now, since the truck is an 84, the tank that I'm using is from a 1988, I knew physically it would fit. But I specifically wanted this tank because it does have the drop-in fuel sending unit with a built-in pump. Now, for those of you who are watching this wondering if this works, it does. But let me caution you that the 1988 through 1990 tanks have a little bit different sending unit and fuel pump assembly than the 91 through 93 models. So if you find one of these, prepare yourself for a lifetime of agony, because nobody reproduces these fuel sending units anymore. And none of the ones that you'll find on parts suppliers will fit the opening in this tank, as it's physically smaller than the later years. If you do happen to find a good one like we did here, and you replace the pump in it, it'll supply more than enough fuel to feed a 400 horsepower motor using the Holley sniper system like we're doing. So I knew this was going to work great. I've got another tank similar to this in my red truck, but we'll cover that at a later date.
Close this big boy down. Don't get excited. Live bar is not staying. I needed a place to put it. It was the easiest one to get to. It does look good though.
So this was it. The EFI install was done. The truck was sounding great, running awesome. We could finally put the tools down, fire this thing up, back it out of the garage, and take it on its maiden voyage. This was the most reliable state this truck has been in since we found it hiding out in Amsterdam in 2014. But finally, you hit the key, it lights right off, and it's ready to go. This was going to be a good drive.